damn it. Can't even hear myself think.
It's gonna be a war.
I told you to shut the fuck up!
What's up everybody, this is Sigmund Floyd and this is my review of Mafia Definitive Edition. Published by 2K Games and developed by Hangar 13. The story takes place in the fictional city of Lost Heaven, a place riddled with corruption mostly due to the fact that it's being run by two crime factions behind the scenes, the Salieri family and the Morello family. You play as Tommy Angelo, a cab driver turned gangster after a chance encounter with two members of the aforementioned Salieri family. The story is told through a series of flashbacks that covers Tommy's criminal career as he climbs up the ranks, working as an associate to eventually becoming one of the Don's capo regime. The game starts out strong due to its narrative and accessibility. There are no complex mechanics, no skill points to unlock abilities, no weapon or armor customization. This is an old school action game with a modern graphical flair. At the beginning, you'll be given quick tutorials in driving, movement controls, melee, and eventually ranged combat, and that's it. That's all you're going to be doing throughout the 20 chapters. Almost all of these chapters share the same format. After the cutscenes, the game drops you off at the bar that serves as your gang's base of operations. From there, you'll be given tasks to complete in order to get to the next objective. The game will allow you to explore a little bit. While doing that, you can read the newspapers where the headlines are usually events from a previous chapter, as well as gather some of the collectibles lying around. After getting to a certain point, you will eventually end up in a shooting gallery, mowing down waves of enemies so you can get into the next area, and occasionally, a car chase sequence. My stance hasn't changed much. Melee is an afterthought and the gunplay is serviceable with its cover-based mechanics. It's a 4-weapon system. You get your melee weapon, you get your pistols, and then you either get a shotgun or a Tommy gun, and then you get either a grenade or a Molotov cocktail. Personally, I'd stick with a Tommy gun and a pistol and just keep on repositioning until you get to a proper distance for you to pop the enemy's heads with a single shot. The cover system can be a bit finicky at times, and there are occasions where I got shot and killed because I keep snapping into the wrong side of the cover. If you're looking for a bit of a challenge, the game is gonna give it to you. For the most part, enemies are accurate enough and will kill you if you stick your head out for too long. And even if you don't, they'll eventually flush you out with grenades. What I've observed as well is that the enemies know how to flank you, and they will if you let them. I still hate the driving. Now fortunately, its main purpose is to get you to the mission objective, but whenever it's not, whenever you're on those car chases, on a mouse and keyboard, the steering is a pain in the ass. There are times at the start of the car chase sequences where I'm already holding down the forward button and the car is still not moving. And this is already with a regular driving mode. Whenever the cops are chasing you and you're relying on the minimap to guide you to your destination, you're gonna have a problem. The line guiding you will disappear and the mission objective area will have an indicator that you shouldn't go there until you lose the cops. There are roads under construction around the city that you can drive through so you can lose them because apparently the police are programmed to crash and burn whenever they go through it, but not you. I feel like they could have improved more on the driving instead of adding these areas. I know the story is set around the 1930s and the cars during this time period probably don't handle that well, but a little bit more maneuverability in a modern video game wouldn't hurt. On a positive note, I like the directional arrow signs that fade out after you pass by them. It's much better than having an ugly yellow line down the path that you're driving and leading you to the mission objective. It's a good touch. In terms of presentation, it's unquestionably an overall improvement from the original game. Cutscenes are beautiful, done in just the right angles, with some of the best facial expressions and lip syncing I've seen in a modern title.
Scrapping, fighting for your life. Then the guy next to you isn't just your partner, he's your brother. You'd stick a knife in someone for your brother, right? But at night, you lie awake, wondering what he and Adon were whispering about behind the bar. Wondering if your best friend is hungry enough to betray you.
Now these are during the cutscenes. Right after them, I gotta see where they cut corners. Just right outside of the bar, when you take a look at the other gang members, you'll notice that the devs didn't work on them that much. Some of the environments look bland with little to no shade or shadows. It all looks gray. The visuals are at its strongest during nighttime, where it could hide its imperfection, where the front lights of the cars clash with water coming down from the rain, or when you're cruising around the city and pass by the illuminated, retro-looking signs in the buildings, with swing jazz music playing on the radio. It really gives out that classic vibe that you'll only get to experience if you're playing this game. And by the time that more graphical issues started to rear their ugly heads, I was just a few chapters away from finishing the story. What I neglected during the first impressions was delve into free ride mode. This is the game's sandbox mode where you can go anywhere around the city to do everything the game lets you. This mode allows you to change your main character's outfits, some of which are unlocked after completing phone booth missions. Now these are timed missions, each one with different objectives, and due to the small amount of time you're given to complete them, they are typically harder than anything the main story throws at you. If you're looking for a challenge after you finish the main story, this mode has you covered. Other than that, you can hunt for collectibles like pulp magazines and secret cards. You can find hidden cars, steal them, and add them to your collection, in which the game lets you customize the interior and exterior colors. Some cars have different variations too. There's also mystery foxes scattered across the city with graffitis on the wall to give you the hints that they are nearby. In my opinion, the main selling point of this game is its story and its characters. Because of how each chapters are structured, the game keeps you focused, leaving you no room to divert your attention somewhere else. The characters, with little screen time they have, were given enough personality for you to remember who they are. Even Vinny, the gang's gunsmith, is more interesting than the main characters of some other games. It just goes to show you that with the right dialogue, excellent voice acting, accompanied by the right cutscene, you can make players care for the characters.
You're not built for the domestic life, Bobby. But if 6 months in, you'll put a bullet in your brain out of boredom.
Christ. I'm ready to punch my ticket right now. We sit around for 6 months, just playing cards and busting balls, and I start to get lazy. Then everything blows up, and I gotta knock the rust off or I'm dead. One day I'm fighting to stay awake while the Don's telling us a story about the old days. One I've already heard 100 times, and the next day I'm getting shot at, trying to keep from shitting my pants. It's fucking wearing me out, Tommy.
There's no branching side stories, no plot twists, and because of how the story is told, you already have an idea as to what's going to happen. It's quite predictable sometimes, especially near the end. But you know what? I like it. I'm fine with it. Too many titles these days are obsessed with world building that they forget to make the main plot stand out, and they just keep throwing expositions at you, most of which you won't even remember by the time that you finish the game. Mafia's story remains focused, and because it's not filled with padding, it's one of the tales you won't forget easily. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Mafia Definitive Edition. With all of its flaws in terms of gameplay, the storytelling and the presentation balances it all out. And it doesn't overstay its welcome either, with me clocking in at 12 hours before getting to the end credits. Its short length definitely worked to its advantage. If you want a good story, or if you're a fan of the Goodfellas or the Godfather films, I highly recommend this game. If you're looking for longevity or for complex mechanics and deep combat system, there's nothing for you here. You just have to set proper expectations before buying this. It's a 2003 game brought back to life by 2K in its newly rendered form. I'm gonna give Mafia Definitive Edition 3 bullets in the head out of 5.
Remember that money, jobs, even best pals will come and go. But family is forever.